So you're visiting Canada, and you did the smart thing. You bought travel insurance. But do you really know what's in that policy? In the next few minutes, we're going to treat this as your user manual, breaking down your Visitor to Canada policy so you know exactly what you paid for. Let's dive in.
Just imagine this for a second. You're having an amazing time in Canada, and then bam, something happens and you need a doctor. What do? Who do you call? The answer to that question can make all the difference, and it all comes down to understanding the insurance policy in your pocket. So let's make sure you're prepared and you know exactly what to do.
All right, we're going to tackle this in 5 simple steps. First, we'll get a handle on what this insurance is actually for. Then, we'll look at the biggest choice you made when you bought it. After that, we'll dig into the fine print, what's not covered. Most importantly, we're going to give you a step-by-step crisis plan. And finally, how to get your money back. Stick with me, and by the end, you'll be a pro. So, first things first, what did you actually buy? It's really important to know that this is not a regular health insurance plan. It's designed for one very specific, very important job. Okay, the 2 words you have to burn into your brain are sudden and unexpected. This insurance is your safety net for things that come out of nowhere. We're talking about a nasty fall that breaks your arm or waking up with a terrible stomach bug. It's not for routine stuff like a dental cleaning, getting a prescription refilled, or that follow-up appointment your doctor told you to book. It's for emergencies, plain and simple. Now, when you bought your policy, you had to choose between a standard or an enhanced plan. And this right here, it's probably the single most important decision you made because it completely changes the game when it comes to what's covered. And this slide says it all. The standard plan is super straightforward. It excludes all pre-existing conditions, period. End of story. The enhanced plan, now that's a different story. It can cover pre-existing conditions, but, and this is a huge but, they have to be considered stable. And figuring out what stable means is absolutely key. So what does unstable even mean? Well, the policy is pretty clear on this. Basically, if anything about that pre-existing condition has changed in the 180 days, that's about 6 months, before your trip started, it's considered unstable. That could be anything. New symptoms popping up, a doctor changing your medication, a new kind of treatment, or a trip to the hospital. If any of that happened, that condition is unstable and it won't be covered even on the enhanced plan. Okay, so we've got the standard versus enhanced plans down. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty, the eligibility rules and the exclusions. The stuff that's never covered no matter which plan you have. So first up, who can't get this policy? Well, it's not for everybody. As you can see, if you're traveling against your doctor's orders, have a terminal illness, or require major ongoing treatments like kidney dialysis, this policy isn't for you. It's just good to be aware of these fundamental rules. Now, the full list of exclusions in the policy is, well, it's long, but don't worry. We can boil it all down to 3 simple categories to make it easier to remember. We've got your past, your choices, and the plan's limits. First up, things related to your past medical history. No surprise here, right? We've already talked a lot about pre-existing conditions. This also covers any issues you already knew you'd need treatment for on your trip, as well as routine care related to pregnancy. Next up, category 2, your choices. This one's pretty much about common sense. If you decide to go rock climbing or parachuting, this policy isn't going to cover you if something goes wrong. Same goes for injuries that happen while you're committing a crime, or if you ignore your doctor's orders. And finally, we have the plan's own built-in limits. It's so important to remember this is emergency insurance, not an all-you-can-eat healthcare buffet. So things like cosmetic surgery or general checkup are out. And listen to this. This is a big one. For major things like a CAT scan or any kind of surgery, you absolutely must get pre-approval from the insurance company first. All right, I need your full attention for this next part. Seriously, if you zone out for everything else, please remember this section. This is your emergency playbook, your step-by-step guide for when things go wrong. Okay, let's just imagine it. The worst happens. You're in a medical emergency in a foreign country. Your heart's pounding. What's the very first thing you do? It's probably not what you think. You call this number. I'm not kidding. Pause this explainer right now, pull out your phone, and save this number in your contacts. Put it under Canada Emergency or something you'll remember. This is your 24/7 lifeline. Now look closely at these steps, because this is where most people get it wrong. Your gut tells you to race to the nearest hospital, right? Wrong. Your first move is to call that assistance center. If you can, you call before you get any treatment.
Now, obviously, if it's life or death, get medical help first, but you or someone with you has to call within 24 hours of being admitted. It's a hard rule. And if you're thinking, I'll just call them later, think again. This isn't a suggestion, it's a requirement. This is a direct quote from your policy. If you don't make that call, you will be on the hook for 20% of the bill. Let that sink in. On a big hospital bill, that could be thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars out of your own pocket.
Okay, let's take a deep breath. The emergency part is over. Now for the final piece of the puzzle, getting your money back. We'll talk about filing a claim and also when you might be able to get a refund on your premium.
When it comes to filing a claim, time is of the essence. You've got two key deadlines to remember. You have 30 days just to let the company know a claim is coming. Then you have 90 days to get them all the paperwork, the reports, the receipts, all of it. Pro tip, do it online. It's usually way faster. And what about refunds? Can you get some of your premium back? Yes, it's possible, but only in a few very specific situations, like if your visa gets denied or if you decide to head home early. The big catch is you can't have made any claims on the policy, and there's usually a small administrative fee involved. So, as we wrap up, we're going to put the single most important piece of information back on the screen. There's that number again. If you still haven't saved it in your phone, this is your last chance. Please do it now.
So if we boil this entire explainer down to one single critical takeaway, it's this. In a medical emergency, your first instinct is probably wrong. The first thing you do is not go to the hospital. The first thing you do is make one simple phone call. That call protects you, your health, and your wallet. You've taken a huge step. You now know the number to call, which honestly puts you ahead of most travelers. But what do you actually say when they pick up the phone? Do you know the 3 key questions you absolutely need to ask to make sure your coverage is locked in? Well, that's a story for our next explainer. For now, travel safe and travel smart.